Ready to unlock the real power in your Power BI data? You've built tables and columns, but measures are the calculations your data doesn't already have. Measures are efficient, on-demand formulas stored right in your model. In this course, I'll simplify how DAX works using my approachable Cookie Monster analogy for data aggregation. We'll review essential syntax rules and use Power BI's IntelliSense as your built-in coding copilot. Don't let your data sit idle. Watch this course now and start engineering dynamic business insights. To start, forget spreadsheets. Power BI uses DAX to think in relational tables and whole columns. There are two main ways to create new calculations here: columns and measures. Calculated columns create static, materialized data. They run during the data refresh, adding values to every row and increasing your file size, giving you a horizontal view. Measures, however, are invisible code blueprints. They wake up dynamically, only when a visual triggers them, acting vertically like Cookie Monster gobbling up aggregates. These keep your file size small. You must choose columns for slicing, setting matrix headers, or rigid row-by-row filtering, because measures cannot act as filters. Think of DAX as learning a new, unforgiving language. Forget DAX is completely case-insensitive, but typography is everything for your copilot. The blueprint is simple. Columns must be fully qualified in square brackets, preceded by the table name and single quotes, like sales revenue. But crucial convention, existing measures are called directly with bare brackets, like all sales. This is a language built for modularity, nesting complex functions vertically, like Russian dolls, where baseline measures can be infinitely reused. If the baseline updates, everything updates. Don't memorize everything. Use IntelliSense as your integrated copilot. It provides predictive autocomplete, optional argument guides, and instant shortcuts to see every available table and measure. Just remember the golden rule: never assume correct syntax equals correct business results. Always test your results immediately in a raw visual and cross-check manually with small subsets in Excel. Welcome back to your non-techie guide for conquering filter context. Think of it as the dynamic sieve or mesh filter that decides exactly which data rows pass through to be calculated. Context shifts constantly, generated by user slicers, background filter pane settings, visual headers, and even cross-filtering from other charts. But standard measures are completely submissive to whatever the user clicks on the page. To become a Power BI master, you need Calculate, the ultimate control switch. Calculate lets you act as a visual copilot, enabling you to intercept, modify, or completely ignore existing context. You can use it surgically to remove specific filters, or aggressively to hardcode dominant values, like Germany beverages, rigidly locking them down so they always win the conflict against external user selections. While filter context is Power BI's wide-lens camera isolating chunks of data, row context is the microscope that scans your table horizontally, looking at values line by line. To leverage this line-by-line math dynamically, we use iterator functions, the X family, like SumX. Standard functions are column monsters that gobble everything vertically, but an iterator performs a brilliant dynamic loop, calculating accurately inside the CPU without bloating your storage. Finally, professional data modeling is all about explicit design. Never fall into the volatile drag-and-drop trap of implicit measures. Writing explicit measures locks down logic, creates a clean, lockdown model architecture, and guarantees validated answers across your entire organization. Ready for advanced DAX wizardry? Standalone numbers don't tell the whole story. Use time intelligence functions for context, effortlessly comparing YTD or prior year sales. Just remember to use a marked date table. Next, master snapshots. Unlike sales, metrics like bank balances can be added across warehouses, but never across time. Tired of misleading grand totals? Erase them using smart conditional logic. Finally, conquer matrix hierarchies with scope functions for dynamic drill downs, and polish up statistical essentials like mean, median, and standard deviation. We began by demystifying DAX, contrasting materialized calculated columns with dynamic, non-materialized measures. We learned strict language syntax using IntelliSense as our predictive copilot. Next, we mastered the ultimate control switch, Calculate, discovering how to modify or overwrite shifting filter contexts. We utilized the X family of iterator functions for horizontal, row-by-row logic, and learn to avoid the breakable implicit measure trap through explicit design. Finally, we have mocked advanced wizardry, conquering complex time intelligence travel, handling point-in-time snapshot metrics, and mastering intricate matrix scope hierarchies. While we realized that DAX is simple but not easy, we focused on mastering context as the key to skyrocketing our proficiency.